Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits. My name is Penny and I live in Central Illinois, and I am a knitter, a blogger, and a YouTube podcaster. And today is Friday, November 20th. Oh my gosh, we are less than a week away from Thanksgiving. And how did that all happen? I do not know. I do not know. It has been 60 and windy here the last few days in Central Illinois, which is unusual for November. Usually it's a little bit colder and we have some snow pellets, and we've not had any. We're not really complaining at all about that, but for now, we'll just take it as it comes. So I'm so glad that you all stopped in to see me today. I am podcasting from the basement tonight. I'm trying alternative locations. I have a huge table down here where I can spread everything out, and so that's where everything's at, and I can be away from the noise, hopefully, and not bother anybody as well. So we'll see if this lighting works out or if this space works out. We'll see what happens going forward. So thank you again for tuning in, and if you do me a couple of favors, if you would like this video, if you like it, if you would subscribe so you can get notifications, and if you would tell a friend about it, if it's something that they would like to watch, I'd appreciate that too. I want to welcome today a new viewer out there, hopefully, a young knitter, new knitter, Eliza. Hi, thank you for tuning in with Mom, and hopefully, and I am so pleased to see that you are knitting. And I can't wait to see what you're knitting on. I love it when new knitters start up. So thanks for tuning in. I'm hoping that you continue the knitting bug. So anyway, let's just get started right away with the knitting. Let's start with hashtags and KALs. For the month of November, Suburban Stitcher on Instagram is doing hashtag Finsuemo 2020, where you're supposed to finish a sweater in the month of November. And as regular viewers know, I have several sweaters that I could finish, but I'm hoping for one in particular right now. And I'm going to share that one with you. I have been knitting on this one since 2016 when I had foot surgery. 4 years from right about right now. And this is called Nancy's Vest. It is by Carol Sunday Knits. So I have been knitting that for some time, and I am almost finished with it. I just have to sew the shoulders together and the back neck. And so here is the yarn. The yarn that I'm using is her Angelic 3-ply. And it has, if you can see, it has a little bit of a halo with it. And this is really in a green, just as you can see right now, an army green kind of color, which is really not a colorway that I normally would use. But I really, when I first got this, I thought this would be fun to do. And what I'm planning on doing is when I'm done wearing a white shirt underneath it, very much like her picture. I just think I like that aesthetic for me, and I just think it'd be super cool. So I'm hoping to have this particular sweater finished here by the end of the month, and I will have a hashtag Finsuemo 2020 to contribute. So that's one of the things that that is in a hashtag this at the moment. And then on PJ Knits, the Ravelry group, we were doing Stocktober, and of course we transitioned into November and people were still knitting socks, of course. And so what we're calling it from now until the end of the year, we're calling it mistletoes. And so you can do hashtag mistletoes Instagram, or also do on your on the thread in PJ Knits, show us your socks, talk about socks, where we're talking about sock needles, sock yarn, sock patterns you like, heels that you like. Please feel free to go out there and post some information in the Mistletoes group thread on Ravelry. And I have one to show, one finished object. This I finished earlier this week. This is the Shirley Brian yarn that I've talked about before, and I finished one. This one's for me, and this is the colorway is Shark Bait Ooh Ha Ha. And so I'm really loving this, and I have the other one upstairs, and I've cast it on, and I'm hoping to get it done by the end of the month, because I have a sock that I want to cast on for the month of December, but we'll talk about that in a future time. So I've got one of my mistletoes done, and so be sure and go out and check out the thread on Ravelry and post your socks. And then Comforting Crafts. This is is a dishcloth along with B-Wing and Comforting Crafts Ravelry group. She is trying to do 500 dishcloths, face cloths for El Salvador by the end of the year. And so I've had some friends out there knitting, helping me to knit some, and I am so happy, and I want to show you those. So that's hashtag Comforting Crafts on Instagram. You can post your finished dishcloths in the Ravelry group in PJ Knits as well, because at the end of December, I'm going to have a drawing for a little packet of Coco Knits accessories to give away to one of our participants. And so I just want to show you the stacks that I got recently from some people. First up, this is from Annette. Thank you, Annette. So very, very much. Look at all of those. She's just been knitting crazy dishcloths, and we do appreciate it. There's a stack of them she's done. Excuse me, some maroon ones. And here's some gorgeous variegated ones. And some red ones. And I can see possibilities future. The lighting down here probably isn't the greatest. We'll have to figure that out at some point in time. And then this is beautiful turquoise and blues and purples. And some teal ones. All in this wonderful basket weave pattern. Purple. Some navy ones. And a green one. Thank you so much, Annette. We really do appreciate that. And then our friend Helen that we were at hospice with, she sent some to us via our friend Debbie, that's been Priceless, that's been on the podcast before. And here's a stack from Helen. Thank you, Helen, if you tune in. We do appreciate these as well. Turquoise. And some variegated. Royal blue. Along with some green in there. Oh, and she's done also some blue and red. Some red, white, and blue. And then some red ones. Thank you, Helen. This was a wonderful stack. And last but not least, Debbie, Priceless. She sent some crocheted ones. Look at these. You're going to love these designs, all crocheted. We'll just put them there and show little flowers. Oh my gosh. I just love these. And here's a purple flower. And then just purple. And here's this. She's been busy crocheting. And a beigey one. And then some square ones. We got some lime. And a cream. Another bright variegated, not variegated, but a striped one. Oops, right side in there, okay. And pink. And then she's done some textured ones. This is a bug. I believe this is a bug. Look at that. That is super cool. Purple. Orange. Turquoise. And then another one. as well. Thank you, Debbie, so much. And thank you, Helen and Annette, for your contribution to Comforting Crafts for the Dishcloth Along. And I have posted those pictures, some pictures of those in the Ravelry group so that they can all be part of the knit along as well. So thank you so very much. We do appreciate it, and I know that Brittany does as well. And Brittany, those will be on their way to you in the next couple of weeks because I want to get them to you, along with some others that I had. So thank you, ladies. And one of the last hashtags, KALs, I want to talk to you about is one that I'm going to start in December 26th, and we're going to call it hashtag Top This 2021 KAL. This is a cast on date for December 26th. This is really the thought process behind this is, for at least me and for a couple of friends that I have talked about this with, is that for the year of 2021, we want to knit sweaters. Because I think, and I love knitting shawls, but I think that a sweater for me says or screams, you know, to everybody, I am a knitter. And so I want to add more sweaters to my wardrobe for 2021. And I have so many patterns, and we've talked about that before. I have ideas of ones I want to knit. I have patterns in a folder. I have yarn to go with them, and I have a lot of dream knitting. So 2021 for me is going to be the year of the sweater. And what we're going to try and do is cast on December 26th, because between now and Christmas, I know a lot of us are knitting for friends and family. And so I think there's something about December 26th when you're like, I can sit down and I can now knit for myself. And that's what I am going to be doing starting the 26th, is we will start the KAL for knitting sweaters for 2021. And what we're going to try and do is knit a season ahead so that when spring comes, we have spring sweaters. When summer comes, we have lightweight sweaters to wear and not necessarily be always knitting in the season for what we want to be wearing. Does that make sense? Because I find myself knitting winter sweaters like all the way up till March, April, and I'm like, well, I'm not wearing this till next fall. And so I really want to get ahead of it, much like Ready to Wear does. So I really want to go that direction with my knitting, and I'm hoping that you will join me. Now there will be a thread in the Ravelry group already started, and we'd love for you to go out and talk about sweaters that you want to knit for the season, and we may have prizes along the way for as the season turns. So I hope that you will join us there. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about my inspiration for sweaters, and I probably have talked about this before, but I'm just going to talk about it again. A lot of my inspiration right now comes from Instagram and other knitters, designers, and yarn shop, people on social media that post things. Excuse me. And that's where most of my knitting inspiration is coming right now. I think a lot of us, or at least back in the day, like a year ago, we were getting catalogs and we were going out and shopping Ready to Wear, and we were seeing trends and fashion out there. And we haven't been able to do that since March. So my inspiration really has come from more and more is from the social media. I've noticed lately I'm not getting all of the catalogs even that I was getting maybe a year ago. And I want to attribute that to the fact that I'm just not ordering right now because I don't need anything. And for me, it's hard. It's always been hard to put things together. And I've talked about that before because I would see it out in Ready to Wear and try and, as it would be, knock it off, I guess. Many years ago, I worked for a fabric shop in Peoria. And the manager at the time was excellent at seeing trends in fashion that were not necessarily runway fashion, but fashion, everyday fashion, fashion that we would be wearing, and or that a designer at the time Isaac Mizrahi was doing, and she could take fabric and pattern and do an I'll just, for lack of a better word, call it a knockoff from it, and developed a style from those kinds of things by just seeing what they were doing. And I think that's where I got my inspiration for a lot of things, for the things that I want to knit. And I've talked about this before, and I will talk about it probably again and again and again. But a few years back in 2014, I was doing a lot on Pinterest. I was going out on Pinterest a lot. And that's where I was finding, at the time, surprisingly, there was a lot of photos and styles that really, for me, I would see this ensemble, this outfit that someone had put together. And what I thought to myself is, how could I equate that from that picture or that style into knitted wardrobe? And so I've talked about the one that has my inspiration right now, is one that I had found some time ago there. And I'll show you this one here that says Storm Mountain Down Over. I saw that particular ensemble and I thought, how can I create that? Because I like that look. So what my jumping off point is I had this shawl that I made years ago, and it's called Down Over Shawl by Cheryl Overly out of Her Yarn. And it reminded me so very much of the shawl that was in here, right? And I thought, well, I've already got one of those pieces in that, and I have a red top. So now what I was looking for was this particular type of sweater. And what happened is it happened on my searching of Ravelry. I found Storm Mountain last year. And I thought, why not? Sorry. And this is by Heidi Kermeyer. So I'm like, okay, this is very, very much like the sweater that I found there. And as it happens, this year I found a red purse, my Joji purse that I got. Then I thought, okay, we're building a wardrobe here. And I found the yarn again that was just, it was hard to find grays that really went with what I was looking with, because I wanted a charcoaly gray, very similar to that and very similar to maybe that was in there. And I finally found it at Sunday Knits. And this is her Eden yarn. Colorway is Dove. And this is 100% merino. It's a 3-ply sport weight. And so I purchased enough for this for a sweater. And I think when I get it all knit up, it's just going to be perfect for this particular outfit. So that was kind of that's my first one that I'm wanting to do as my top this for 2021. So this is the one that I'm going to be working on. And just to bring it all the way back again to the ensemble, I went as far as to looking at the jewelry. And I think this is going to be such a cool ensemble. Happened to have, back in when I was selling Leah Sophia, happened to have a bracelet. So I'm going to work that all the way back to my ensemble with some black shoes. And my thought is, I'm going to have something just like my picture, just like my inspiration. People do inspiration boards. I do an inspiration binder. And I've showed you this before. And that's where that whole Pinterest 2014 particular those items came out of. And I really want to continue after I do this one. I want to explore the other ones that I liked, because these are really the styles and the aesthetic that I can wear right now for my lifestyle in being retired, and hopefully at some point in time. And as I went through some of those, I would find patterns that I liked that lead back to my inspiration binder, and I would put them in here. So I have some for some of the other ones, and I've talked about and showed these before. These are all ones that I'm going to explore in the new year, and I will talk about again. And the thing is, if I had yarn that went with it, then I made a note. Oh, you have this yarn, or this is the yarn that you need to go shopping for, so that I could be a little more not going off willy-nilly buying anything, which doesn't mean anything, because I do anyway, right? So just saying, but that was I have what I call my inspiration binder. And that's what I really want to do with my Top This 2021 sweaters. I want to have sweaters that I've knit. I want to wear them proudly. I want to have them accessorized. And because I'm not good at that, I'm going to look at photos in Pinterest and social media to see what other people are wearing with them. And I'm hoping that you will join me in this KAL for 2021, and we can knit some sweaters together and maybe help each other out along the way, give some ideas of things that, oh, hey, you need this to go with that, or wouldn't this pattern be great? This is what you're looking for. We're going to also dive into a little bit of how I knit my sweaters, of how I switch them up on the arms, because I've talked about before, because I have larger arms, what I have to do to accommodate that. And we're going to look at other designers that are out there, different styles of designing for 2021. So 2021 for me is going to be the year of the sweaters, and I'm going to talk about it often here. And before we move away from sweaters altogether, I just want to give you a little tip. I made and wore this last time Joji's Super Simple Summer Sweater, and I'm planning on knitting a couple more of these because I've got an idea ruminating, but that's a month down the road we'll talk about. But the thing with this that I wanted to call your attention to was sometimes these sweaters are really hard to tell which is the front and the back when you go to grab them and put them on. I'm always having to match up the bottom, match the bottom up. Let's see which is longer, whatever. And what I've started doing in my sweaters is I'm putting a little extra piece of yarn here, and just of the yarn that it was knit out of, putting it in the back, making a loop-de-loop, putting it in the back, and then it's forever there so that I will know that that is the back. No little tag or anything to sew in, and there you go. So that's my sweater tip for today. Okay. Sorry about that. The more you talk, the more you have to drink. Okay, so let's talk finished objects. This one's going to be an unusual one for you because I don't have anything to show, but I finally finished my Harry Potter house color cowl. Harry Potter house color cowl. And I bought the yarn from Sun Valley Fiber a couple of years ago at Stitches Midwest, and I finally finished it, but I can't show it to you because I gave it to my daughter-in-law for her birthday. But these were the colors that it was. And so she's got it, and that's all done. That was her birthday was in October, so she's received that already. And my next one, this is Ace. This is an Espace Tricot pattern. And those of you, a lot of you already know that Espace Tricot, their patterns that they create, that they design, most of them are all free on their website. And so I've made a couple of these. The first one was a kind of a white, off-white one, and I made it for hospice some time ago. And then this particular one I've been knitting on for a while. So this was a long-term whip, but I'm loving this. And again, this one I bought right after the foot surgery. So it's probably 4 years old, finished it. And the yarn I bought at Espace Tricot when I first found them. I was watching one of their podcasts, and they showed this pattern and this, if not this exact same colorway, the same yarn. And so I ordered it right away. And the yarn that I bought at the time is Madtosh Prairie. It's a lace weight in cactus flower, and then a strand of Rowan Kids Silk Haze in blushes. And oh, this is luscious, girls and guys and knitters. I love it. And I was worried about it not being wide enough. It's a wrap, but when I blocked it, it's plenty long. I love this so much. And I'm going to I want to knit another one with some mohair in another color. But look at this, guys. It's lush. It's a perfect wrap, and I haven't worn it yet because I wanted to have it here. It's a perfect wrap. It'll be perfect for this winter, just to wrap around as well. Oh my gosh, guys, I love it. I love it so much, and it's so soft. So I highly recommend Ace and also the yarn. But I love this. It's lush. It's lush, and it's a nice, easy knit. If you need something to knit while watching TV, the only difference is on the ends, and then these eyelets here occasionally. So it's wonderful. It's soft. It does not, for me, this is not scratchy, and I think this would make, the thing that I liked about it would make a nice gift for anyone, or if you have somebody in hospice as well. It's a nice hospice one as well. And like I said, I'm going to knit some more of these. An easy knitting. So that is Ace from Espace Tricot. Okay, books and bags. Okay, you know, it's been a while since I podcasted, and I've been going to do it for at least 3 weeks, and things just kind of sort of got in the way. But at the time that I started thinking about what book I wanted to share with you from my library, Rhinebeck had just gotten over, or was just, well, it was just ending. Yeah, it was just ending. And so I remembered in my library I had a book, and it was called The Rhinebeck Sweater. Ysolda and Friends celebrate sheep and wool. And here we are. And this book is is wonderful. I really love it. And it was very appropriate for the time. And it has photos of people in the sweaters that are in the books. The designers are in there, and they show them walking. The pictures were taken at Rhinebeck, and it has some lovely sweaters, different sweaters in there. And of course, one of the things that drew me to it was Briar Rose has there's a sweater in here that Briar Rose yarn was used for. And so there's just some really cool sweaters in this book, and very appropriate for 2021. And I in the last podcast, I believe, I showed some yarn. Okay, this is the one that's from Briar Rose Yarns. Isn't that cool? But what I did is, last episode, I think I showed you the black and cream yarn that I bought for a Ruth Bader Ginsburg sweater. And then what I decided was that I was not going to knit that particular pattern, that particular sweater, but rather I still want to use the yarn. And so I have decided to change it up and knit this one. This is called Duchess, and this is by Cheryl Burke. And I thought this would be perfect out of that black Barocco Ultra Alpaca. And then I would use the cream for the top of that. And then here's some other pictures of that. So this is, and I believe the patterns are still available, if not the book as well. Here's one by Amy Herzog, modeled by her. There you go. So it's just a wealth of fun sweaters in here. It talks about different yarns. It talks about Bijou Basin, the dyers. It talks about Jill Draper Makes Stuff, her yarns. And here's one called Artichoke French. Look at that. So this one is just chock full of really cool sweaters. It's called the Rhinebeck Sweater. And Ysolda Teague was one of the authors of this particular book. And let's see. She also did the photography, as it says in here. Trying to see it printed and bound in America. 2013. So check that book in some of your bookstores or Amazon or your yarn shops, or on Ravelry to see if you can purchase any of the patterns as by themselves. But I thought that was super cool, and I wanted to share. It was just a very appropriate book to show you with both of what was going on at the time that I pulled it, Rhinebeck, and for 2021 possibilities. So they have possibilities for me. And then bags. I've been saving this one. This particular bag that I purchased, I pre-ordered it back in the summertime, and she was going to wait and do the pre-orders later, but she realized that if she waited till fall, that's when we would all be wanting to carry these bags. And so I bought Sandy by the Lakeside bag. She does leather bags, but that's not what I bought. I bought myself her big blue tote because I thought this. And this is just, it smells luscious. And it's like butter and it's scrunchy. And you know what I love about it is that when you put it on your arm and walk with the coat on, when I get to, it will go over the coat. I just love it. And all of my stuff will go in it. My knitting, and we've been taking this down to the riverfront when we go. And my knitting and my wallet and everything that I need. I took it to Iowa when I went a month ago, and I could put all my knitting, my purse, everything I needed right in it. And I love this. So this is Sandy by the Lakeside, and then she puts her little stamp on it of the scissors. So I've been saving this to show you all. This is the bag. And this is going to be my winter bag. So anyway, we got these in plenty of time. So she did the pre-order in like August, and we had them by September-ish so that we could be carrying it. And there you go. So that's Sandy by the Lakeside. That is the bag that I wanted to share with today. Now, almost lastly, November. November is my birthday month. And I had a birthday on November 10th, me and the Marine Corps. And what I want to do is I want to just share some lovelies that I got from some of my knitting friends. And we'll start with, again, bringing back to my mug. Isn't this fun? My friend Brenda gave me a big mug, which is wonderful, and I've been drinking tonight out of this. This is so cool. Thank you, Brenda. And also from Brenda, I got some yarn. And you know what? I love getting yarn for birthdays. And I love getting it from my knitting friends because they always find cool stuff. And so I got, it's called Paca Paints. It's 100% superfine alpaca. It's from the Alpaca Yarn Company. And I got 2 skeins of this also from Brenda. Look at this. I wish you could feel this. I wish it was feel-o-vision. This is just, oh, it's lovely. And for those who haven't heard me say this, alpaca is my favorite yarn. I love the feel of it. It is soft and cozy. This is an alpaca. It's called Just Beautiful Alpaca. Unfortunately, it was dyed by Cheryl Oberly back several years ago, and she's no longer dyeing. But this is her pattern and her yarn. This was all alpaca, and I love it. So alpaca is my favorite yarn. So this was a gift from my friend Brenda. Thank you, Brenda. And then from my friend Becky, she got me some Snoopy things. I got from Christmas, and then my friend Kathy got me some Christmas things, but I'm going to save those for another time to show you. But Becky also got me a Cocoa Knits mesh bag that I can use for my skeins of yarn that in my Sandy by the Lakeside bag. I'm looking forward to tucking it in there. I didn't want to pull it out and use it until I had a chance to talk to you all about them. But this was one of my presents from Becky. And then from Kendra, she got me bunches of notepads, and I've been using these like crazy. Snoopy, hashtag PJ Knits, because I'm PJ Knits on Instagram, and that's the hashtag. So I thought that was super cool. Thank you, Kendra. I'm using those, and they're coming in so handy. And then last but not least, friend Debbie gifted me with some really cool, super cool things. First of all, some Cocoa Knits. Stitch markers. And there's the black and the white triangular ones. So I received those from Debbie. And then I got a skein of Hue Loco. This is Fjord, and it's sock, spun sock XL yarn. And so this is so cool. I think some of you have seen this before. We did not realize that this was my birthday present, but thank you, Debbie. And then also from Debbie, from Sweet Tea Yarns, Molly Klein Design, this luscious mohair, and this is in true teal. So I am truly spoiled by knitting friends for my birthday. But that's not all. Friend Debbie also made me a bag. Is that not cool? And she had made one for another friend, and she'd shown it on one of the podcasts when we were outside. So it has like a little zipper bag, zipper on the outside. This is cool. And I'm already using it for a sweater that I cast on. So it's the yarn matches matches the bag, and that's one that I could not resist casting on. So in my little bag from Debbie, thank you, Debbie. Look at this inside. That's cool. I'm going to be leaving my newest sweater in here, which is also another Espace Tricot pattern called Bright Side. And this is a nice, easy raglan sweater that I'm working on. And the nice thing about that is after you get past the German short rows at the top, and then I'm doing increases right now, but it's pretty easy knitting. So you can just sit and watch TV, watch whatever you want, watch podcasts and do a little knitting. And plus I will have a sweater for 2021 for our KAL. So anyway, those are some of my birthday presents from my Yarny friends. I do appreciate, we had a really fun time down on the riverfront celebrating my birthday and Brenda's birthday, and it was just a great birthday. I had it's unusual on November 10th for it not to be cold and rainy and spitty snow. That's what I remember as a kid, and this year it was warm and nice, and we could go down to the riverfront and enjoy it and sit and knit with friends and celebrate. So I am so blessed when it comes to that. So anyway, couple of last bit of things for those of you who don't know. Fruity Knitting is a podcast that I watch on YouTube. Andrew and Andrea are going through some challenges with his health right now, and so I just say to you all, if you do positive thoughts and prayers, and if you're able to help them, there is a mechanism on that they talk about on their podcast about how you can help them, support them. And so, and I encourage you, if you can, to do so. Their podcasts are fantastic, and they put a lot into them, and they're a pleasure to watch, and I really enjoy all of the things that they have done. So during this time, it's difficult for some. So anyway, I wanted to just put that out to you all about Fruity Knitting. And also, coming up at the end of the month, I am going to do another podcast, and it's going to be about Christmas and holiday knitting. I have some things already planned that I want to show you of possibilities. I got some books I want to talk to you about. I've got some things that I'm knitting on, and we'll start a thread in the Ravelry group under PJ Knits to talk about that. We've already got one about Advent calendars, so I'm going to show you a couple of Advent calendars I've got, and we'll talk about what I did last year for Advent. So that will be right after Thanksgiving. It will be for December 1st, because December 1st, the Advent calendars start to be opening, and I want to show you what they look like before I start. So that will be coming real quick at the end of the month. And then I think that's all I have to talk to you about today. I thank you again for tuning in and listening to me talk about my knitting. It's a passion that I have, and I'm enjoying a lot of that right now, and I hope that you are as well. Have a nice Thanksgiving, celebrating however you can. I know that for us, it's just going to be the two of us because we really can't be around our children, given the occupations that they are in as healthcare workers, and they're concerned for us as we are for them as well. So it'll be a quiet Thanksgiving, but that's okay. We have our knitting, and we'll talk to them, and we'll do Zoom. And I hope that you all have a good Thanksgiving weekend, however, and I hope that you will stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next time, knit on. Bye.